Matthew 5, verse 27 to 30. You have heard that it was said, "You shall not commit adultery." But I say to you that whoever looks at a woman to lust for her has already committed adultery with her in his heart. If your right eye causes you to stumble, pluck it out and throw it from you. For it is profitable for you that one of your members perish, and not that your whole body be thrown into Gehenna. And if your right hand causes you to stumble, cut it off and throw it from you. For it is profitable for you that one of your members perish, and not that your whole body go into Gehenna. In this portion of the Sermon on the Mount, Jesus continues his exposition of the law, addressing the commandment concerning adultery. The familiar command, "You shall not commit adultery," came from the Mosaic covenant and governed the outward conduct of Israel. Yet Jesus penetrates beyond the external action and exposes the deeper reality of the human heart. The commandment was not merely about the physical act, but about the inward desire that gives birth to it. By declaring that one who looks with lust has already committed adultery in the heart, Jesus intensifies the standard of righteousness. The issue is no longer merely visible behavior, but the internal condition of the person. In doing so, he reveals the true breadth of the law. The law was never limited to external compliance. It demanded a purity that extended to the thoughts and intentions of the heart. This teaching takes place within the covenantal world of first century Israel, a nation still bound under the law of Moses. The law functioned as the governing standard for that covenant people, and it exposed the depth of human inability. When Jesus raises the standard from outward conduct to inward desire, the law's searching power becomes unmistakable. It shows that righteousness measured by the law reaches beyond actions and into the hidden places of the mind. The Lord then employs vivid and severe imagery. He speaks of the right eye and the right hand, symbols of what is valuable and useful, being removed if they cause one to stumble. These expressions are not instructions for literal mutilation, but rhetorical warnings emphasizing the seriousness of sin within the covenantal framework in which Israel lived. The language is deliberate and forceful, illustrating the gravity of violation under that system. The consequence Jesus mentions is being cast into Gehenna. Gehenna referred to the valley of Hinnom outside Jerusalem, a place historically associated with judgment and destruction. In the prophetic language familiar to Israel, it symbolized divine judgment upon covenant unfaithfulness. Within the context of Jesus' ministry, this warning carried particular urgency for that generation, which stood on the brink of national judgment foretold by the prophets. Thus, the warning about Gehenna is tied to the covenantal crisis of that age. Israel's leadership and many among the people were rejecting the one to whom the law and the prophets pointed. The Sermon on the Mount repeatedly exposes the inadequacy of the righteousness practiced by the scribes and Pharisees. Their focus on external observance failed to address the deeper corruption that the law itself revealed. By intensifying the commandment against adultery, Jesus demonstrates that the law demands a perfection far beyond human capacity. Even the inward glance of desire falls short of the standard. In this way, the law exposes not merely isolated actions, but the pervasive condition of the heart. Within the larger testimony of the New Testament, this exposure of sin serves to magnify the significance of what Christ came to accomplish. The law reveals the depth of human failure, while the work of Christ establishes a righteousness not derived from human effort, but from his finished work. The contrast between the searching demands of the law and the completeness of redemption becomes increasingly clear as the gospel narrative unfolds. In Matthew 5, verse 27 to 30, therefore, Jesus is not lowering the law, but revealing its true scope. The commandment against adultery reaches beyond outward behavior into the realm of thought and desire. The severe imagery of removing the eye or the hand underscores the seriousness of sin within the covenantal system that governed Israel at that time. And the warning of Gehenna reflects the looming judgment that would come upon that generation as the Old Covenant age reached its climactic conclusion. Through these words, the depth of the law is laid bare, and the stage is set for the revelation of a righteousness that would ultimately be established through Christ himself.